Stampers, welcome to fancyforstampin.com. I'm Josie Cauler. Today, as I promised earlier in this month, I'm going to show you a new technique I recently learned for getting this graduated shaded watercolor wash on the background of a card. It's a technique that was new to me. Some of you may know of this technique. If you do, I apologize. But I always, whenever I tried watercoloring, ended up with a huge black blob in the background of my card or wherever I was watercoloring. And then I learned of this technique and I thought, gosh, I gotta give it a shot, and it actually worked. So what you will need to make this card is the Birthday Bloom stamp set and the Sweet Saying stamp set. You'll also need a piece of very vanilla cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 11 inches, a piece of watercolor paper that measures 4 by 5 1/4 inches, half of a lace doily, and a piece of very vanilla cardstock that measures 3/4 inches by 4. And I'm just getting started, and I did have, and it's probably on the floor, a piece of this gold metallic ribbon. So I guess I'll just cut another piece when we need it. That's the gold metallic ribbon that's in the Occasions catalog. Okay, and if you feel you might need it, I cut out a mask. So actually you're getting two techniques in one video today. We're going to be doing the masking technique as well. So I cut out a mask of this flower. So let's get started. I like to use my silicone craft sheet, and I put my watercolor paper on top of it. Okay, and then I'll take an Aqua Painter, and what I'll do is just give it a light wash of water all over the surface of the watercolor paper. Okay, and it will curl up, but don't worry about that. We'll fix that later. Okay, so that's got a nice wash of water on it. And the colors we're using are Pool Party. So I've got my Pool Party ink pad and my Pool Party re-inker. I'm going to put a drop of ink in the lid of my ink pad. And then I'm going to open up my other ink pads too, because I want to move rather quickly. I think this is Bermuda Bay, and I think there's enough re-inker in there. And then we're going to use Pacific Point, and I'm going to add a drop of Pacific Point into the cover of my ink pad. Okay, so there's the drop. Okay, and I'm going to start with my lightest ink, which is Pool Party, taking the top off of my Aqua Painter. See, this is curled, but that's okay. And I'm going to swish it around here. If you want to add water, this is the place to add it. Just going to swish it around here, and then I'm going to take it over. I'm going lightest to darkest. I'm just putting that on there like that. Put a little more on. There we go. I think that looks just fine, just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to wipe off on a piece of paper towel. I'm wiping off my Aqua Painter, or you could switch Aqua Painters if you want. Next color I'm using is Bermuda Bay. Swishing it around in my ink here. And we'll just add that. And I'll wipe that off, running water through my Aqua Painter. And last is Pacific Point. Okay, this is the darkest. Add some water there. Okay, here we go. I'm going to wipe it off just a hair. And A little more ink. Okay. Oops, we got a spot there. That's okay. I just wiped it off. I didn't know that would work. Okay, now, since this is all wet, what we're going to do is take our heat tool. And we need something to hold this piece of cardstock flat. And we are going to dry off this cardstock. Okay, and if you notice, as we dried off the cardstock, it flattened. So the corners are a little curled up, but once we put our dimensionals back there, it's going to be okay. And if you notice, we got a little rough edge there when we were drying, but I'm not going to worry about that because when we put our doily over it, you will hardly see it. See? Wrong side. The doily sort of covers it. Okay, let me close up my ink pads and we'll put this baby together. Something I found when I watercolor is that even if I'm doing the same kind of background, no two ever look the same. I don't know which one I like better. I don't know if I like the lighter one or the darker one. Might be the darker one. Anyway, so we'll get rid of all of this. And the next thing we're going to do is, in black archival ink, we're going to stamp our flower. Now, you may want a mask, you may not. It all depends on where I get this set down there. So we'll stamp the first flower about there. And I'll put my mask over it. I don't know if I'm going to need it, but I may. And my second one right there. See, what the mask did was it cut off this little bit of the leaf, so it looks like the leaf is overlapping. Okay, so we're done with that. Now we're going to use my watercolor pencils, and I'm using Melon Mambo and Old Olive to color these flowers. And where to go? A blender pen. So what I do is I just add a little color to the base of the flower and in the center. And then I spread it with the Aqua Painter. And that gives you that dark to light look. Something I forgot to mention that you can do is, and that you probably should do, is heat set the black ink a little, because it has a tendency to run when you use the watercolor pencils and the blender pen. So if you give me a second, I'm going to do that. Okay, there. That should be good enough. And now we'll spread it here in the center of this flower. Yeah, that's better. It's not bleeding. The black is not bleeding out. Okay. There's that. And this flower. This is going to look a little different because it's over blue. But I promise you it will look just fine. It's a little deeper Melon Mambo than normal. Okay, we've got the flowers done. Now we need our old olive for the stems and leaves, and I'm just putting a little old olive in each, and then I'll spread it with blender pens. There. Our coloring is done. It doesn't look bad, even if I do say so myself. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is attach our doily with the, I can't tell in this light, maybe if I put my glasses on. Here we go. I'm going to have the very vanilla side showing, so I got my craft sheet here, and I'm going to flip it over and add some adhesive. Just like so. And I'm going to attach this right about there. It's not quite centered, it's off-centered. Okay, so we've got that on there. Next thing we're going to do is take this Thanks for Being You sentiment from the Sweet Sayings stamp set, and we're just going to color in the thanks portion with a black Stampin' Right marker, which is right here. And we will stamp it onto our 3/4 by 4-inch banner. And I like to huff on my stamp after I color it in to keep the ink fresh. And we will just stamp. Okay, that's not bad. And now we need to banner the end, so I'm going to just use scissors to snip the left end. And I will attach dimensionals to the back. Oh no, before I do that, I need to add a piece, and I'll find it later, I'm sure, on the floor, a piece of this gold metallic ribbon that comes in the combo pack that's in the Occasions catalog. So we need a piece, oh, about that long. So let me cut that. Where are my ribbon scissors? Right there. And I'll run some adhesive across the bottom of this banner. And I'll just put this on like so. There it is. Okay, now we'll put dimensionals on the back of the banner. One at either end. I'll remove the backing. I'll back it on there. Oh, the backing's not on that one. Okay, and we'll just put that right over like so. Okay, and flip that over. Add some dimensionals to the back, one in each corner. And this will be attached to our card base. Just like so. And there you have it. A simple and easy watercoloring technique using Aqua Painters and re-inkers, and we also did some watercoloring with the new watercolor pencils. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. And as always, I hope you enjoyed your visit here today. Until next time, happy stamping.